Meghan Markle's brutal public relations machine strikes again. Now, the devastated Hollywood actress Brooke Shields, an incredible talent, and at one point arguably the most beautiful woman in the world, dared in a recent interview with King Charles's goddaughter to criticise Meghan Markle for being, and I quote, too precious, too serious, and basically too self-obsessed. A statement that is provably true. Well, breaking news. The interview has been sensationally deleted just days after it was released. Now, why would that be? Why would a podcast interview that criticises Meghan Markle be pulled from the airwaves? Very simple. There is a vicious culture of fear and intimidation around Meghan Markle. Yes, Meghan Markle is beyond reproach, and there is a support network around her that's known as the Sussex Squad, who are brutal, aggressive, heartless, and will do everything to protect her reputation because Meghan Markle is such a fabulous, perfect human being. She is beyond reproach, in spite of the fact that she makes a fool of herself on a daily basis and never fails to reveal her true, highly controlling and narcissistic character, whether it's her unwatchable TV show, her unlistenable podcast, or her truly cringeworthy, inappropriate, and embarrassing social media posts. Now, Brooke Shields is Hollywood royalty, and she dared to drop some truth bombs about Duchess difficult. And what's happened to her? She's been taken down. She's been taken down to Chinatown by the Sussex Squad, by this army of people that are protecting Meghan Markle. And of course, Meghan Markle may not be directly involved in this removal of the interview. That doesn't matter. It's her people. It's her foot soldiers. It's done in her name. Meghan Markle could have that interview reinstated like that. It would be instant. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm a public figure, I'm a broadcaster, I've been in TV and radio for 20 years at least, maybe 25 years. Where do the years go? And I still look young. Anyway, the bottom line is, it will be. It's 25 years that I've been in the world of showbiz and current affairs. But here's the thing. I've been criticised and I've had stuff that goes on public record that is negative about me. And do you know what I do? I say, do your worst. That's what I say. If someone criticises me on a public platform, on the airwaves, I say, do your worst, because I'm happy to defend my position. I've had a lot of views about a lot of things over many years, and I stand by it because just as I do on the Mark Dolan show, in this massive growing community that we're building, I just say what I think and I say what I see. That's all I do, is I say what I see. There's no agenda. I see stuff that Meghan Markle does, such as put Lily and Lilibet on social media when she says that she cares about privacy and she worries about young people and social media. Then she puts pictures of them on the internet. I'll point out the double standards. I say what I see. That's all I do. Sometimes I'll be right. Sometimes I'll be wrong. Mrs. Dolan, by the way, is always right, but that's another story. But if someone criticised me, I would never take down that material. In fact, I would welcome it because I think it's attention. If people criticise you, I mean, you're not going to have much of a life or a career if you please everyone, are you? It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. But Meghan is so thin-skinned that she's happy to have this army of vicious, cruel, nasty supporters around her who are known as the Sussex Squad, but are basically online gangsters. They are trolls. They are cruel, heartless, vicious human beings. And they're also mad. They're deluded because they are protecting this woman that they see as an angel, young Meghan Markle. I call my husband H, my husband. And they see her as an angel. I see her as quite the opposite. So poor old Brooke Shields is taken down by Markle's people. And like I say, Markle's not involved, okay? It doesn't matter. The takedown, the cancellation has been done in her name. She could save Brooke Shields. She will not. Meghan Markle has allowed Brooke Shields to be thrown to the lions. And here's the thing. Meghan loves her social media. She loves her Instagram. So she could go on Instagram now and do a post going, hey guys, I'm a great admirer of Brooke Shields. She's had a much better acting career than I have. She's provably talented, unlike me. And can you please, I request that the interview is reinstated. That's what I would do. I'd hold a press conference going, hey, I hear I've been criticised. Can we please publish this thing? Because I welcome the pushback. I welcome the pushback. Meghan doesn't welcome the pushback. It's like the comments on the Mark Dolan show. Amazingly positive. I mean, just, what can I say? The love that comes to me goes straight back to you. There are people that wake up in the morning down under, Australia, New Zealand, and they're having their breakfast with the Mark Dolan show. There are Americans having their lunch, and there are Colombians having their dinner, their supper. And it's the greatest honor. This is a truly global show. But you know what? Not everyone agrees with me. And you get the odd comment where like, I don't like your show, or I don't agree with what you said. I welcome it, because it's all about opinions, isn't it? But Meghan does not want that. And her people, the Sussex squad, want to crush dissent like a hobnail boot on a little ant. Just crunch it. By the way, 20 years ago, I was in New York, and there were lots of cockroaches there, as you may well know. And I was walking down the street, and I got pleasure. I hope you don't mind me telling you this, but I got pleasure. I was young. I was foolish. I got pleasure from stepping on the cockroaches. Because it makes a crunching sound. I feel bad now. I feel bad for the cockroaches. They're still God's creatures, aren't they? But I stepped on I got this habit of stepping on the cockroaches, and it was like crunch. Anyway, there you go. I won't defend it, but it's what I did. I was a cockroach cruncher. And try saying that after a couple of drinks. A couple of vodka and tonics to get me on my feet again. So, and a New Yorker said to me, hey, Mark, because that's how the New Yorkers talk, I wouldn't step on those cockroaches if I were you. And I said, why not? Why not, American man from New York? And this provably American man from New York said, because if you get a pregnant bug, then the eggs will go into your shoe, into the sole of your shoe. And then when you get home, you walk on the carpet, the bugs will lay their eggs in the carpet, and then you'll have an infestation of cockroaches in your home. Can you believe it? What a wise man that provably American New York character was saying. So I've never crunched a cockroach since. I've given up my cockroach crunching days. And I felt like a bit of a cockroach for having done that. But anyhow, there is a point to this, and it's important, which is that Meghan, anyone that criticizes her, she wants to crunch us with her hobnail boots. And she'll allow, it's being done in her name by these other people. She could stop it now. Brooke Shields is entitled to criticize Meghan Markle, because unlike the Duchess, Brooke Shields is a major, highly accomplished actress. And Meghan, if I'm honest, is not fit to scrub the floor of her trailer. So last week, Brooke, who is, by the way, 60. How is that possible that she's 60? She's 60 years of age. And she looks about 30. So Brooke Shields made an appearance on the India Hicks podcast, An Unexpected Journey. Well, it was an unexpected journey because her show was cancelled by the Sussex squad. Anyhow, she recalled her decision to interrupt the Duchess of Sussex. That was her first mistake. Never interrupt Meghan Markle. That's a big, big mistake. She interrupted the Duchess of Sussex at an event called SXSW, which needs a rebrand, I think you can agree. SXSW. Try saying that after a couple of bourbons. SXSW festival. It was a panel in March 2024. And the host was a lady called India Hicks. You need to know about her because she's a British designer and writer. India Hicks. She is virtual royalty herself. So lovely Brooke Shields is Hollywood royalty, and India Hicks is actual British aristocracy royalty. She's the granddaughter of Lord Mountbatten. I mean, that's not bad, is it? Is that a mic drop? Who's your granddad? Lord Mountbatten. And someone says, who is Lord Mountbatten? You go, well, Lord Mountbatten was just Prince Philip's uncle. That doesn't sound that good. He was just Prince Philip's uncle, whatever. Yeah, I've got more. He was also the great-grandson of Queen Victoria, the woman who built the British Empire. The reason why London is one of the great cities on planet Earth is thanks to Queen Victoria. And he was her great-grandson. He was also, Lord Mountbatten was a mentor and godfather to Prince Charles, who adored his godfather. So she's got her chops, hasn't she? She's got her royal chops. By the way, the other thing about India, lovely India Hicks, is that she's King Charles's goddaughter and second cousin. She served as a bridesmaid at his wedding to Diana in 1981. By the way, if you could go back in time, where would you go? Let me know in the comments, where would you go back in time to witness a bit of history? There's a few options for me. VE Day, Victory in Europe Day, watching Churchill driving through London in an open-top Rolls-Royce, liberating Europe. That would be an experience, wouldn't it? I wouldn't mind going to Charles and Diana's wedding in 81. That would be an experience. Elton John, Dodgers Stadium, 1975, clearly. But anyway, so Markle and Shields, Brooke Shields, were part of this International Women's Day panel led by the excellent broadcaster Katie Couric, who knows her onions and doesn't take any prisoners. So in this podcast episode hosted by India Hicks, who is British royalty, and this episode has been deleted. Okay, it's gone forever. We will never know its contents because it's been deleted because of pressure from the Sussex squad. So Brooke Shields remembered Markle answering one of Couric's questions with a memory about how at a young age she was already advocating for women. Now, what an arrogant thing to say. Would you go on stage, if you're watching this now, man, woman or child, and the Mark Dolan show, by the way, family friendly, bring the kids in, they might learn something. And what I would say to you is, would you go on stage and go, yes, since a young age, I've been advocating for women's rights? I mean, it's just a pompous sentence. What you would do is you'd be humble like Nelson Mandela was, or Gandhi, or Mother Teresa, or someone like that. And by the way, all of those people, Meghan thinks she's better than them. She thinks she's holier than Mother Teresa. She's quite the opposite. She's unholy. And so, Mother Teresa, by the way, Mother Teresa didn't take any nonsense, right? Mother Teresa did not suffer fools gladly. If Mother Teresa had encountered Meghan Markle, because Mother Teresa represented Christian values of forgiveness and love and being positive and making a positive contribution to the world. That was her legacy, Mother Teresa. If Mother Teresa had dealt with Meghan Markle, she would have taken her down, and she would have taken her down to Chinatown, is where she would have taken her, to the Chinatown district, famous for East Asian cuisine. Take her down to Chinatown. So she's at this event, and she's like, at a young age, I was already advocating for women. Arrogant, showing off, horrific. And then Brooke Shields says, Meghan starts telling a story about how when she was 11, and apparently she kept saying, when I was 11. She said that Meghan said, I saw this commercial. They were talking about how washing dishes was for women. And she said, I don't think only women wash dishes. It wasn't fair. So I wrote to the company, and that was Meghan's story. But apparently, according to Brooke Shields, she said about 1 million times, when I was 11, because, well, that's her messaging, isn't it? She wants to get it out there that she's been this fabulous human being, this incredible semi-godlike figure since the age of 11, really. That's what she's trying to say. And Shields said that Markle repeatedly kept highlighting acts that she did when she was 11. This is a direct quote from Brooke Shields. Meghan Markle kept saying she was 11. She wrote to the company. They changed the text. They changed the commercial. And then Brooke Shields, who I love. I mean, when she says this, I think we should get her on the show. We're going to start having guests at some point. But the issue we've got, there's so much material that you and I need to digest and get through. There isn't space for guests at the moment. And the other thing is that I only want the elites. So I'll take Brooke Shields. I'll take Tom Bower, the Harry and Meghan biographer. I'll take Ken Worf, Diana's bodyguard. I'll take Paul Burrell. I'll take the royal butler, Grant Harrell. That's the level I'm looking for. And then we'll have a guest. But they've got to be good enough for this show. They've got to be good enough for you. So I think we should try and get Brooke Shields on. And do you know what? She can say whatever she likes about Meghan Markle. She won't get cancelled. Not on my watch. I just won't have it. So Brooke Shields goes, you'll love this. She goes, it was just too precious. She's talking about Meghan's little disgusting, self-aggrandizing anecdote. Brooke says, it was just too precious. And I was like, they're not going to want to sit here for 45 minutes and listen to anyone be precious or so serious. So Brooke Shields, you see, she understands audiences because she's entertained millions of people over many years with her movies. So, and she lives in the real world. Brooke Shields is a woman of substance, stunning. I mean, beautiful, intelligent, pioneering, a campaigner. She's had the perfect career. She's an amazing lady. And she lives in the real world. She's not in a Montecito bubble with a bunch of billionaires with blinking Oprah Winfrey as your next door neighbor. Do me a favor. Wake up and smell the coffee. Tell us when the shuttle lands. Because whilst you're in Montecito, the rest of us are living on planet Earth in the real world. Brooke Shields is one of those people. Brooke Shields could be in Montecito. Montecito. She could be there. She's not. Brooke Shields is not, because she doesn't want to live in a pampered neighbourhood that's not real. By the way, the Mark Dolan Show will be visiting Montecito for at least 2 videos of the Mark Dolan Show. When the Mark Dolan Show goes to America at the end of this month, at the end of June, you are welcome. So I'll be going to LA, by the way, where there's a bit of trouble lately. I was going to wear shorts and a T-shirt. I may now bring riot gear, which I think is quite flattering to my appearance. I look pretty good in riot gear, I got to say. There's something about, all of the bulletproof vest and everything. It's very rugged. It's a great look for me. Mrs. Dolan loves it. So I may well be in riot gear for my trip to LA. Wish me luck. Strap yourselves in. So, Brooke Shields, right? I'm just going to repeat this line to you because it's so good. She goes, "It was just too precious." And I was like, they're not going to want to sit here for 45 minutes and listen to anybody be so precious and so serious. She's absolutely right. The public don't want, an audience at this event don't want to sit there and hear about how great Meghan Markle was when she was 11. Or there is one way in which she was great when she was 11. When she was 11, she was nice to her father, Thomas Markle. When she was 11, she loved her father. When she was 11, she sat on his lap, she hugged him, she kissed him, she said, "I love you." When she was 11, she appreciated everything he did for her, including the private schooling, the access to Hollywood in terms of the TV shows. He was a lighting designer. He brought her into the studio. She watched these stars. The seed was sown. He gave her everything. Where is he now? He's in the Philippines. In the Philippines, in a high-rise overlooking a 7-lane freeway with environmentally unfriendly cars just flying past. That's when she was nice. Is when she lived in the same blinking country as her father and loved him and was kind to him. Now she's banished him to the Philippines, where the poor guy is sweating his knackers off. I doubt he's got air conditioning. It's a hot country. There's crime. And he lives on a noisy highway. Horrific. So it gets better. The story gets better because Brooke Shields, I don't think anyone wants to listen to this Shumbers for the next 45 minutes. Of course she's right. She said, "It was at that moment that I interrupted Meghan Markle." Imagine interrupting Meghan Markle. Can you imagine the rage in Meghan's eyes? It's another mic drop. A lot of mic drops today. Can you imagine interrupting Meghan Markle? It's not the done thing. We know what happens when Mindy Kaling from The Office TV show dared to call Meghan Markle, which is her name. And Meghan's like, "Didn't you know? I'm not Meghan Markle anymore. I'm Meghan Sussex." No, I'm not Meghan Markle anymore. I'm Meghan Sussex. So she does not like to be interrupted. So Brooke Shields drops the microphone, interrupts her, which is just beautiful. And Brooke said, "I go, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I got to interrupt you there for 1 minute. I was trying not to be rude, but I wanted to be funny because it was just so serious, this conversation." So what she did, Brooke Shields, having the seeing eye, is she interrupted this ego fest from Meghan, which was the right thing to do, and the audience must have been so grateful. And it will have been devastating to Meghan Markle. And the moment at which Brooke Shields dared to interrupt Meghan Markle, who is, I think, a megalomaniac, an egomaniac, a narcissist, that's just my opinion, based upon her public musings, her social media footprint, her TV show, and everything she's ever done or said. But apart from that, who knows? So you don't interrupt somebody with that level of self-regard. And what would have happened? Brooke Shields, completely cancelled by Meghan at that point. Public enemy number one, because you don't cross Meghan. You do not cross her. And then lovely, fabulous Brooke Shields did a bit of a joke because, Meghan was being very worthy and talking about how great she was when she was 11 and she didn't want girls to do the washing up and all of that. And then Brooke Shields did a joke. She said, I just want to give everyone here a context as to how we're different. Because when I was 11, I was playing a prostitute, a lady of the night. Now, what she meant was she was in a film role where she played a young sex worker. And it was a funny thing to say because she's basically mocking Meghan. Because Meghan's like, when I was 11, I was this inspirational. I was the new Martin Luther King, basically. I was the new Gloria Steinem. I was the new Jermaine Greer. I was this extraordinary sort of, Abraham Lincoln levels of public respect, aged 11. And the brilliant Brooke Shields, very self-deprecating, going, I can't compete with that. When I was 11, I played a lady of the night. Brilliant, right? Broke the room up. Everyone cracked up. Funny. By the way, have you noticed Meghan hasn't got a funny bone in her body? The issue with funniness, for people to be funny or to laugh, requires self-awareness and humility, neither of which the Duchess has. So it's incredible what Brooke Shields did. It was a great story. And the price of that is that Meghan's people have taken her down, and they've taken her down to Chinatown. So as of Tuesday, the link to the podcast episode leads to page not found. You see, that's what happens if you criticize Meghan. The link to the internet webpage, page not found, deleted. This is almost like Stalin's Soviet Union here, isn't it? Do you remember that picture with Stalin next to some other lieutenant, and then they photoshopped it, the lieutenant's not there anymore? Don't know what happened to them. Probably a grisly fate. This is what it's like. It's like Stalin's Russia, except it's Montecito. It's like Stalin's Russia with veneers and good weather. That's really all it is. No different. And so the show's gone. And it's not known exactly when the episode was taken down, but it is gone. It won't be brought back. And no one's even said why it's gone, but we know. Because Meghan's people, the Sussex squad, have lobbied to get it taken down. Now, I've got to give you a sense of the caliber of Brooke Shields. By the way, very excited because in a second I'll be telling you about Prince William and a new recruit to Team Wales. And it's a good one. But first, Brooke Shields. So she rose to global fame as a child star in Pretty Baby. That's where she played a lady of the night. And became a cultural icon with The Blue Lagoon, which was a very adult movie containing adult themes. Family show, we'll keep it clean. But it was a very provocative film that I think got a lot of young men through puberty, if I'm honest with you. I don't know which young men that might have been. Who knows? Who knows which young men may have navigated puberty whilst watching that film on a loop. And she also had these Calvin Klein ads, because Calvin Klein, of course, great designer, and she was famous for the Calvin Klein ads. So you've got movie roles, which were cultural moments, modelling. By 14, she was the youngest model to grace the cover of Vogue, later earning 2 Golden Globe nominations for her sitcom Suddenly Susan. She starred on Broadway in Chicago and Cabaret. Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome. Fremder, étranger, stranger. Glücklich zu sehen, je suis enchanté, happy to see you, bleibe, reste, stay. So this woman, she's done the movies, she's done the modelling, she's done Broadway. Do you realise, you do know, how hard it is to sustain a career on the live stage and how demanding it is, how difficult it is, performing every night. And so she's done Broadway, she's done Hollywood, she's done movies, she's done TV. She's been successful in every single field. Quite the opposite of Meghan Markle, who's been unsuccessful in every field. Brooke Shields, successful in every field. Meghan Markle, unsuccessful in every field. Oh, by the way, She's also got an education. Brooke Shields was a Princeton graduate with a degree in French literature. Bonjour, comment ça va? She's also a best-selling author and an advocate for mental health, especially postpartum depression, which is a very real issue that affects mums. And following her acclaimed memoir, Down Came the Rain, she's considered one of the great authors of publishing history. According to my research, she's got beauty, brains, longevity. She's one of the most enduring figures in American pop culture. She is. And what's happened? She's been taken down by Meghan for daring to criticize her. Not Meghan directly, but on Meghan's watch, with Meghan's tacit permission. By the way, quick word. So Meghan did write to Procter & Gamble about these ads when she was a little girl, and it was mum doing the washing up. Now, of course, it's not the woman's job to do the washing up or to do the vacuum cleaning or to do any such household duties. What I will say is that when Meghan Markle was 11, society was very different, and millions and millions and millions of women were housewives and were stay-at-home mums, and things have changed. So at that time, it wasn't really controversial. You wouldn't get an advert like that now because it's not the case. I mean, most Western economies are so broke. Everyone is so flat broke that mum and dad have no choice. They're both working anyway. And so that's, the world has changed. But all those years ago when Meghan was 11, which was, I believe, the late 50s. Careful, I'll get sued. But the bottom line is that, fair enough, she wrote to Procter & Gamble. She got a result. It's not an unimpressive achievement for a little girl, I will say that. But let people discover that rather than spout on about it at public events. But also, can I just make a note about the washing up, which is that she's absolutely right that it's not the role of women to do washing up. And can I tell you that at the Mark Dolan show, in the Mark Dolan show household, the show is my life. In my life, in our home, I do the washing up. I mean, I will say that everyone does their bit. I think I do most of it, and I'll tell you for why, because I'm better at it. And I'm very thorough. Do you know something? I've got a relative, right, who lives in another country, brilliant person, fabulous person, in every way except, do you know what this relative does? I caught him doing a couple of years ago, over Christmas. I caught him doing the washing up, and he had the soapy bubbles on the plates, okay, no problem. And he seems to be quite thorough with the soapy bubbles and the plate. He then takes the plate, which has got the soapy bubbles, and he just puts it on the rack, the drying rack. No rinse. Soapy bubbles, no rinse. It's like, where's the rinse? You got to rinse. You can't have the no rinse. Do you know people in your life who do the no rinse? Because I am against the no rinse. And I probably would give up my entire broadcasting career and my worldly possessions to fight a campaign on behalf of the people that rinse and to make sure they prevail. There are people among us, folks, and I say this with a heavy heart, who take bubbly cups, bubbly glasses, bubbly plates, and just leave them to dry. And that means that when you pour yourself a glass of cold water, or maybe you're going to have a beer, a great American beer like Budweiser, which is the king of beers. Let's imagine that you pour yourself a beer. There are going to be bubbles in that glass. There's going to be detergent in there. And you're drinking it, thanks to the hashtag no rinse crowd. Let me know in the comments. Have you encountered this? And do you want to be honest with me? Let me know if you're a no rinser. Perhaps you think life is too short, but I really don't want to eat soap. Brooke Shields was not the first and will not be the last major celebrity to be taken down. Gwyneth Paltrow. This woman's won an Oscar. She's Hollywood royalty. Her father was Bruce Paltrow, who is a top director, sadly no longer with us. And her mother is Blythe Danner, who's a brilliant actress. So Gwyneth is absolutely dripping in pedigree. And she dared to do a video critical. Well, what she did, it was comedy, it was satire. And she did a pretend With Love Meghan episode. It was 1 minute long, and she's basically in her pajamas. And she's making, I can't remember what she made. I think it was French toast or something. And it was really designed to be the opposite of With Love Meghan. There was no fuss. It was a little clumsy. It was tongue-in-cheek. But it had all of the With Love Meghan motifs. So it was done in her luxury kitchen. And there was a dog in shot, just like on Meghan's show. It was absolutely designed to mock Meghan Markle. It was tongue-in-cheek. It was a comedy roast. Call it what you like. It was great comedy. I loved it. We covered it on the show. And that goes out for a matter of days, at which point there is complete fallout because the Sussex squad are released. They are unleashed, as it were. And poor old Gwyneth Paltrow then has to do this cringeworthy video in which she pretends to be best mates with Meghan Markle in order to make amends, because clearly Gwyneth's agent, her management, have called and said, listen, you've offended the Duchess. You're going to have to fix this. Because the Duchess, she's like a gangster. It's like Don Corleone. You do not criticize this figure. You must kiss the ring. God knows how often poor old Harry has to kiss that ring, probably on a nightly basis. Can you imagine? My husband! So you got to pay your respects to the Right Reverend Meghan Markle, who is holier than Mother Teresa. So Gwyneth had to do this apologetic video and did an interview in which she said, I'm not in competition with Meghan and I think women should work well together and stuff. And it was just to see a woman of her stature brought down like that, humbled to having to do a performative video to pretend everything was fine. But Gwyneth's mistake is she criticised Meghan Markle. Piers Morgan, after the Oprah interview, he said, I don't believe a word that woman says. He's absolutely right. He's a seeker of truth and justice. He is a great journalist. And he knows, be careful, family show. Bring the kids, they might learn something. He knows BS when he sees it. And he can smell it a mile off. And he watched that interview and he knew that it was a pack of lies. And he was absolutely right. For that, he lost his show as a breakfast TV host. A massive gig, devastating for Piers Morgan. Jeremy Clarkson dared to do a satirical joke about Meghan Markle in the Sunday Times in his column, in which he said he hates Meghan Markle on a cellular level, which is a hilarious sentence. And then he did a rather elaborate sort of metaphor for how he'd like her to be sort of publicly flogged in the street and have waste products thrown at her, which, by the way, he wasn't saying that literally. That was a creative reference. It was an allusion to a scene from Game of Thrones. He wasn't saying it literally, but of course, you know what happens with these woke cancellations is that there is no irony, there's no nuance. It's just, Jeremy Clarkson equals bad person. So, Thomas Markle cancelled. Am I next? Is the Mark Dolan show next? We dare to criticise the Holy One, Her Holiness. HRH Meghan Markle, my husband. Well, if she tries to take me down to Chinatown, well, I won't go down without a fight. In fact, I'll win because I've never lost a major fight in my life. And I've faced cancellation more than once in my life. In fact, it's thanks to cancellation that I'm here. And thank the goodness for that, because you and I are building a broadcasting revolution. And it grows by the day. And it is so exciting. Why am I holding a skewer? What happened? What is this? Don't understand. Folks, it's been great to chat. I've got so many more big stories for you to come, so stay tuned. I can't wait to see you for tomorrow's video. Don't forget, 4:45 p.m. in the UK. Get this right now. How many times have I said this? Never got it right once. 4:45 p.m. UK GMT. 8:45 a.m. US West Coast. 11:45 a.m. US East Coast. And late night and early hours, depending on where you are, down under. Can't wait to see you for tomorrow's show. It's going to be so exciting. I've already got some stories bubbling away, but the message of today's show is criticize Meghan Markle at your peril. Something I will do until my dying day. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.